Tip 1. Search for references. Using references and examples is very important as it can contribute a lot to improving the map, especially if you want to do something realistic. So just go to Google or something and choose some pictures you want to orient yourself on. I do this very often when I build something, and in my opinion this is also the best way to find inspiration. Tip 2. Start with the rocks. That was always my big mistake, because I always tried to make a rough shape and wanted to build from bottom to top. But in my opinion it is much easier if you start with the tip or the rocks and work your way down. Tip 3. Don't use this gallery. This gallery can be very useful because it has good terrain pieces, but if you want something realistic it is not useful. I'll explain to you my main reason. The big difference is the texture. If you compare both floors you notice that the one floor is much more greedy and darker. That's why I always use this floor as much as possible, because I like the texture much more, and the result is more beautiful. Tip 4. Use only the ground. Correct and fill gaps with stones and the small snow hill. It is not really more than to use the ground piece to get a rough shape, and fill the gaps, or finer shapes with the snow mound and stones, and create finer shapes and transitions. But also here it is easier to do this from above, because then the tip looks more beautiful at the end, and the shape of the mountain looks better. Tip 5. Build off-grid. With mountains and general terrain it is often better to build off-grid, because then you have more control over unevenness, subtleties, and transitions. Tip 6. Definitely use this rock. The special thing about this one is that when you turn it over that it looks like there are several rocks, which saves memory, time, and is very useful. I used this rock on the whole mountain, and I think it works quite well. Tip 7. Pay attention to light and fog. Light and fog can strongly influence your island and make it look more beautiful. I have here a few examples that you can use so similarly, but note that I do not use the device, but the normal settings, because they have better light. Tip 8. Be patient. To make something like a mountain, it often takes many hours, so it's important to be patient. Up to this point it took me a total of more than 10 hours. Tip 9. Use particles and effects. Particles and effects can help here to better improve a cold climate. You can use the snow and the small fog well, and also the sound effects can help. Tip 10. For the background, use the rocks from the Shark Gallery. These rocks are good for mountains in the background, because they have a good rendering distance, and are big enough. I couldn't do that here anymore because I lost the island before the 10th point. But it's definitely an option if you want to have a few mountains in the background. And that's it with the tutorial. You can leave me suggestions for tutorials in the comments there, and we'll see you in the next video.
I'm walking around in the circle of life, doing the things I know, walking the same way.